G'day, I'm Kama.
And I'm Blowy.
It's the Kama and Blowy Show.
Kama and Blowy, Kama and Blowy, walking and talking. Kama and Blowy, Kama and Blowy.
Good morning, Kama. How are you?
Good morning, Blowy. We have glorious weather today here in Shibushi, and yeah, Rudy's kind of in a decent mood for the time being, so we're going to start this walk.
All right, yeah, I might start walking as well. I've just been chilling under a tree here. It's not the best weather, but you know, the magpies are out, and yeah, it's my time for exercise.
Well,
Hey,
hopefully.
Kama, I was just going to tell you.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to tell you this for a long time now, and I keep getting interrupted. But remember that story that I wanted?
Oh, Blowy, I'm so sorry. I'm getting an incoming call at the moment. Oh, it's JJ Walsh. Hello, JJ.
Hey, how are ya?
Hey. Hey, I'm actually just recording a episode of the Kama and Blowy Show with my brother Blowy. But are you okay to stick around for a little bit?
Sure, of course.
Yeah. Oh, Blowy, this is JJ. You might know her from Twitter.
Yeah, I saw your show with Kama.
Oh yeah, that was really fun.
Hey JJ,
Yes.
all I know you as is JJ. Do you is that a nickname, or what's your real name?
You can call me Joy. I have a super long name, Joy Jarman Walsh. But people call me JJ or Joy. I will basically answer to anything.
Is that your nickname, or do you have a nickname as well?
Because my name's so short, people usually just call me Joy or JJ.
JJ. All right, I like JJ. We might use that.
Yeah, no worries. I'm showing one of the deer. I'm on Miyajima Island right now. It's a beautiful day.
So where's Miyajima?
Miyajima's in Hiroshima. It's one of the top sites in Japan, and it happens to be where I live in Hiroshima. It's a really short trip to get here from Hiroshima City, and it usually has this great, big, beautiful, giant torii gate in the water. But unfortunately, it's under construction, but I can still go on the floating shrine, which is beautiful. It's Kushima.
So what happened? Did it rot away or something?
Well, I think it just needs maintenance every now and again. So, you know, last year we had the Rugby World Cup.
Yep.
So it was actually the last group of inbound tourists to enjoy it came over for the Rugby World Cup. And so they were really lucky because it went right into scaffolding right after that.
Yeah, wow.
Hey JJ, just a question about the deer. The deer that you just saw, was it malnourished?
No, they look very healthy. Compared to years ago though, there aren't as many deer, but that's kind of a good thing because they used to attack people all the time if you had any food or even paper or a plastic bag. So I think actually, because there's so much plastic on the beach that washes up every day, I think there might be a lot of plastic in the stomachs. Maybe the deer aren't quite so healthy because of that. I heard that about Nara as well.
Yeah, well, I heard that in Nara at the moment, the deer there get fed by all the tourists because it's good luck when you give it to them. But now that there's no tourists over there, that all the deer are really skinny and not getting enough food. So.
Yeah, I heard the same thing about Rabbit Island, which is also Hiroshima. But the locals, they do have local volunteers who go around feeding them and putting out water dishes and stuff. So it's quite organized. I hear your little baby.
Yeah, he's normally so happy and content on walks, but for some reason today he's just a bit grumbly. So I may need to mute mine when I'm doing the editing of this episode.
Yeah, no worries. I don't mind.
Thank you, yeah. Some people really do, some people don't mind at all. It's interesting. But I've I can't even remember when I first started following you or vice versa, but it doesn't seem like too long. And last week was the first time we really had a chance to have a proper chat, but I was doing most of the talking. So I think you said you've been in Japan for like 30 years. Can you kind of paint a picture of, you know, how you came to Japan and what the experience has been like?
It's really weird because when people ask me where am I from, I'm like, yeah, where am I from? Because I've been here since, well, I was in Oita in Kyushu for 3 years. And then we left for 2 years, came back for about 28 years altogether. So yeah, almost 30 years.
Wow. And so what was it originally that brought you to Japan?
I came over as a JET, you know, the JET teaching program on English teachers. And I didn't expect to stay for 3 years, so that was a surprise. I just thought I'd stay for 1 year, save up some money, go back to the States, but I enjoyed teaching so much and enjoyed traveling around Japan. I decided to stay.
So JJ, do you consider yourself Japanese now?
No, never. Oh, I love this view of the pagoda I'm showing right now. It's the 5-story pagoda right here. You can see down this back street.
Yeah, I've been there a couple of times, but I remember the first time I went there, like you said, like there were deer everywhere, but there were also lots of monkeys as well.
There's no monkeys now. Yeah.
No, there was a colony of them, and it was quite obvious who was the alpha male. And he was extremely assertive and like getting right in the deer's faces as well and scaring them off.
They're like that, aren't they? Very territorial.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But another thing is, sorry?
Yeah, this is a really quiet time of morning usually, but a lot of local traffic. People getting set up. I love these chopsticks. There's some beautiful chopsticks here I'm showing. Little shop. Ohayou gozaimasu. Such a cute little shop.
How does it compare at the moment to like normal peak tourist season?
Oh, like less than 5% of what they would normally have. Because I think even there aren't many domestic tourists either, right? Sorry, I'm in a tunnel right now, so it's a bit echoey. I'm coming out the other side.
Hey, also another thing I noticed on Twitter is that you're doing lots of cleanups along the beach.
Yeah.
How did you get started doing that?
How did I get started? You know, I think as a family with my kids, whenever we went to the beach, we would always start picking up, because before you set down your blanket to sit down,
Yep.
you always move things out of the way, and it used to be shells, and then it started being more garbage and plastic garbage. So I think we just started like an hour of every time that we went to the beach, we would set aside for cleanup, and it just became like a family thing. And then my son, in his high school, he gets credit for community service activities.
Oh, wow. I've never heard of this before. That's kind of getting credit.
It's part of the IB program. Have you heard of International Baccalaureate? It's
No.
like an international standard high school system.
Okay.
And so he gets credit, and then we made the challenge together of doing a monthly cleanup and trying to invite more people. So usually it's just me and him, but we always say at least it's us, you know? At least we're doing something, even if it's just a little. I love this restaurant here. They have nice udon, kitsune udon, which is the tofu on top, and they really have nice zenzai. And you can sit outside and eat too, which is nice during Corona. Nice to be outside.
Yeah.
You guys have a lot of outdoor eateries where you are?
Well, I'm in Melbourne at the moment, and we're still on total lockdown here. So there's no outdoor or indoor dining. But hopefully, when they open it up, they're planning on opening up outdoor dining, and they're going to actually close the streets down and in the city, and have all outdoor dining for the restaurants. So that will be good when they do that.
Yeah. I mean, the restaurants must really be suffering right now if they've got nobody coming, right?
That's right, yeah. Look, a lot of businesses are suffering here in Melbourne, and it's restaurants, there's like the health and beauty, just everything is just suffering pretty bad. So hopefully next week they're going to make some announcements, and the numbers are starting to come down. So yeah, hopefully we can start getting back outside again.
That's good. I'm right next to a place on Miyajima called 1000 Mat Pagoda, or 1000 Mat Hall, and it's a beautiful old wooden building. It's one of the biggest on the island. I'm showing it right now, and right next to it is a big ginkgo tree. And I'm a little bit early for autumn, but usually if you come right at autumn, it's just bursting with yellow color. It's my favorite tree on the island.
Wow, yeah, I saw on Twitter the other day someone posted a massive ginkgo tree, and it was just golden. It was taken from a drone shot, and it was in the big courtyard, and it was just this one massive tree, and it was just completely, and all the leaf had littered the space, and it was just amazing.
Yeah, so beautiful.
But apparently they stink. Is that right?
They what?
They smell, apparently.
I have not noticed that. But isn't that ginkgo biloba, which comes from the ginkgo tree? I'm not sure. But somebody said it is. And of course, you can take the ginkgo biloba supplements to help with memory.
Okay.
I gave some to my dad because he was having trouble remembering stuff. And then, of course, he said, but I keep forgetting to take them.
This is so ironic.
So ironic, right? So if you take them, maybe you'll remember to take them.
Oh, it's like a superfood or something, is it?
It's, yeah, like a bunch of minerals that are good for your brain, I guess.
Yeah.
So I'm walking down like one of the most touristy streets, but everything's shuttered right now still. So I guess we're early. So maybe domestic tourists usually come a bit later.
Yeah, maybe they open up around lunchtime.
Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind coming when it's not busy. That's my favorite time.
Yeah.
I had a friend who was living in the Hiroshima countryside, and he told me, no, that's interesting. It always happens to me as well. I'm talking to Blowy, and I'm greeting the people along the way.
I always try to greet everyone, even other tourists. You know, sometimes you get the snub from other tourists, and you're like, good morning, you know, and they're like, who are you? I'm just friendly with everybody.
That seems to be a uniquely Japanese phenomenon where like foreigners often like to pretend they're the only person in this exotic paradise kind of thing, and they don't acknowledge each other. Hey, let's just pretend we both don't exist. Like it's, I haven't really encountered that anywhere else in the world.
It's so weird, isn't it? It's like, are you really trying to imagine you're the only foreigner here? Yeah.
Just going back to the rubbish on the beach.
Yes, yes.
Just looking at the labels and things, does it seem that most of it is domestic rubbish?
Well, most of the places that we clean is along the Seito Naikai, so it's internal, it's the inland sea in Japan. So we don't have any trash from outside Japan. It's all from inside Japan, mostly our area. There's a lot of plastic garbage from the fishing and oyster industry, which is massive in Hiroshima. Yeah, it's really unfortunate.
Yeah, like nets and buoys and things like that.
You know what? It's mostly because of oysters are grown just off the coast here, so it's mostly plastic tubing, and it's tubing that separates the oysters from each other as they hang on the floating beds, and we find thousands of them every year. So I wish they'd go back to using wood or bamboo or whatever they used before. Plastic is so convenient. I know it is, but it's such a big problem. And they found these plastic tubes all the way in Hawaii or California, so they're from Hiroshima, but they're getting everywhere.
Wow, and it's not like in Japan, they're quite strict on their litter, aren't they? So there's not a lot of just personal litter? Is it more commercial type of stuff that you get?
I mean, you see, like we clean along the river in Hiroshima City once a month, and then once every few months we come out to the beaches. So when it's city litter, you do find, like people will very nicely tie up their plastic bag full of plastic garbage. Sometimes there's food in there, so that's really gross to pick up because it's like a bit like composted already. It's like a smell bomb. But I don't know, that's quite uncommon. I think you'd find that more in other countries. Japanese visitors to Japan from other countries always comment on how clean everything is, all the streets and all the paths. So there's a lot of people from the businesses who come out and clean every morning. That's a lovely habit.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
Just until recently, like beaches or riversides just didn't seem like anybody's responsibility. So I think that's why I kind of collected a lot of garbage. I'm showing this beautiful little red ornate bridge in one of the big parks. This is the main park when the colors change for autumn. So beautiful. So even now the colors of the leaves are changing a little bit, but in a few weeks they'll be bright yellow and bright red as well as green. So beautiful.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? Like from where Kama and I, where we grew up in Brisbane, you don't really get seasons there. It's just always hot, and in winter it's a little bit cold, but not really. So the first time I ever saw the seasons was when I went to Japan, and just the amazing colours that you get. You get the oranges and the reds and the yellows and the dark greens, and it's just amazing, isn't it?
It's beautiful. And I grew up in Hawaii, so I really appreciate all the changes of the tree colors and, having winter, having different seasons. I love it. Beautiful.
Yeah. Is Rudy's fallen back to sleep again, Kama?
Oh, unfortunately, I've been pressing the mute button so you don't have to be stressed out by the crying.
There's these really cute signs. I'll show you one right now. Most people who travel through this park, they go up to the ropeway instead of hiking up the mountain. And so this sign says, 8 minutes walk, 6 if you run a little. You don't often see comedy or humor on information signs in Japan. I like whoever did that. Good job.
Sometimes unintentionally you might find humour though.
Yeah.
If the English is poorly translated or
Well, you see even some political posters. Recently there was a guy who actually might have been one of the LDP, and horrendous English on the poster.
Sorry, what's the LDP?
LDP is like the ruling Liberal Democratic Party in Japan. And Abe just stepped down, right? So one of the guys who was in the running, he had campaign posters all over Hiroshima because he's from Hiroshima. And the English was so bad. I think I put it on my Twitter. But it's just like, it shows, it's like an arrogance. It's not just a mistake. It's like the fact that you did that mistake and didn't check it before you made thousands of posters, and then you might be in charge of all the education in the country, is just wrong, right? Like, why?
Yeah, like too proud to get checked.
Exactly. And then people are like, well, I'm sure I make loads of mistakes in Japanese. Well, yeah, me too. But if I was printing 1 million copies of something, I might check it. Hi, honey. Hello. I'm showing a deer. Hello, dear. Hello, darling. Yeah.
Segueing from millions of posters to 500 subscribers, I'd just like to congratulate you.
Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. I know it's like people keep telling me before Google took over YouTube, it was a lot easier to grow your channel. It's been really hard. I've been doing videos every day for 5 months and it's still so slow to grow your channel, right?
I saw a graph of growth on YouTube, and someone said the first like year it took them to get like 100 subscribers, and then the next 6 months they got 500 subscribers, and then the next 3 months they got 1,000 subscribers. So I think all the hard work that you've done is going to start paying off.
I hope so. I mean, I'd like to continue as long as I can. It's been so amazing, like for me, networking and learning from all these great people around Japan, doing interesting things. But, you know, I'll try to keep going as long as I can, but everybody's starting to get busy, you know. I'm luckily starting to get some work too.
What type of work do you do?
I do tourism and business consulting, but of course there's not much of that right now. So I have been doing narration projects, which I used to also do on the side, but now it's become more of my main income. So I do like editing from a translated document and then make it like native level so that we can have a good narration for a Japanese video. They want English narration. Yeah. What else am I doing? Oh, lots of English content stuff. So my husband and I started Get Hiroshima in 1999, which is like a regional website with events and place reviews and stuff. So we've been doing that for a long time. So sometimes we get jobs for creating content for maps or regional areas who want to appeal. Of course, usually it's to international visitors, but there's not much of that right now. So
Yeah, well, maybe the NDP, they should hire you. Give them some correct subtitles.
yeah, I mean, there is the government. My husband was saying the government contracts which were in place will be expiring, and whether the government will reissue funding for any travel tourism project is kind of in question right now. So we'll just have to wait and see. But you know, we've been in Japan a long time. I also teach marketing once a week at a university, which is now online. I taught business and marketing and tourism studies for 21 years at a university, and I branched out on my own business last year in Brand Ambassador because there was a lot of tourism work, and I thought, oh yeah, easy, I'll be able to get lots of work. And I was starting to build up work, and then Corona happened. But you know what? It's not just us. It's everywhere in the world, right? Everybody's trying to reassess what the heck they can do. So.
But tourism's one of those things where everyone wants to get back. Like everyone's dying to go on a holiday again. But it's just whenever the world opens, really, that's when we're just a victim to the virus, aren't we? We just have to wait until either a vaccine comes out. That's pretty much. That's the only thing I can see is the world international travel opening is when the vaccine comes out.
Yeah. Well, I really think travel will never be the same, but that's a good thing, because I always focus on sustainable travel and how you don't want to pack people in. You don't want to think of tourism by numbers. You want to think of tourism offering experiences of quality, longer time, slow travel, a lot of the things we talk about on the series. And that's definitely the future of travel, because after Corona, you just can't pack people into buses or ships or rooms and call it a good product, because it just doesn't, it won't work like that. It shouldn't, and it doesn't. So that might be a good thing.
It's killed the cruise industry, hasn't it? I saw they were dismantling a number of cruise ships over, I don't know where it was. It might have been in Europe or America, I can't remember, but yeah, they had like 10 different massive cruise ships they were just dismantling for scrap metal.
Good.
Good, yeah.
We have okonomiyaki shops in Hiroshima, which were started after the war. And the metal that they use on the teppan to cook the food is actually made from old ships that were destroyed in the war. So maybe we can repurpose the cruise ship materials and metal into more sustainable restaurants or sustainable travel products or something.
That's right, yeah.
When I used to live in Vanuatu, about once every 2 weeks or so, a cruise ship would come over, and the streets just transformed. And I really hated those days, because you'd see mainly drunk Australians, sunburned and being obnoxious in the streets, and it just changed the whole atmosphere as well. Obviously it brings money into the local economy, but there's definitely a social cost.
Oh, huge social and environmental cost. We visited Miyajima, which is a beautiful island down in Okinawa. And it reminded me of old Hawaii, like a old kind of untouched Hawaii. And it was gorgeous. And we went to one of the most gorgeous bays where they had a beautiful white sand beach. And then on one end, there was all this construction. And I asked the locals, what's going on? They said, we're creating a cruise ship port. And then I was like, what? Why? And they said, yeah, it's the locals telling me it's a huge problem, because even once the port is ready, the cruise ships are going to bring 1,000, 2,000 people who want to get off at the same time. And how are they going to get anywhere else? There's no shops here. There's no restaurants here. There's no hotel here. The bus can only accommodate like 30 people at a time. So it's just a lack of thinking on the policymaker part, you know? It's just thinking if we have 1,000 people come to, you know, visit our island, that's success. But they didn't ask locals what success means to them, right? So that's something I always try to discuss with destinations or businesses. Like, you have to try to balance the needs of visitors with needs of locals and the environment, and then you'll be able to make more money longer term into the future, right? But it's the business as usual concept is really hard to get away from. The concept that more is better. Hello. Here's some more deer. Hello.
Because Japan has always had such a such a busy lifestyle, and they've only got a short amount of time for holidays, they really try and cram a lot into a short amount of time. And I guess that's what's driven these travel companies to design their holidays like that.
Yeah, I mean it's connected to everything, isn't it? It's how our energy, you know, like making nuclear power seems like a good idea, but then what happens with the waste? Well, we don't have a plan yet. You know, still, we don't have a plan. We don't have a way to dispose of it safely, you know? Let's think about it.
Yeah, have they made any pledges about when they want to go completely like carbon neutral or renewable energies? No.
No, you know, Japan, it was really disappointing at the last UN climate conference at Davos last year. And Japan is one of the only developed major economy nations to say, no, we're gonna stick with coal. You know, we're gonna stick with coal until 2030 at least, and didn't even think about what that means for the local people or the environment. You know, it's not very long-term thinking. It's just thinking about, well, coal is cheaper than everything else right now, but is it? Because it's gonna have so much cost for people and planet later.
Yeah.
Frustrating.
Hey JJ, we've reached the 30-minute mark, but there was a question I wanted to ask you.
Sure.
It didn't really slot in before, but I remember reading in the Lonely Planet guide, this was probably from 20 years ago, that in Hiroshima there was there's one foreign taxi driver. I'm just wondering if you've ever met him or, you know, any stories?
Yeah, I know a guy who married into a taxi company, and he does a lot of the guided tours on the taxis, and he's a manager now. But his company is very proactive about English, so any of their drivers can speak a bit of English and give you a tour. Or they had a really cool like travel plan where they would take you around all the city traditional wagashi shops, like the traditional Japanese sweets, and that was really fun. So it's a nice service. I think people worry about that when they're outside the big cities, like will they be able to communicate? But we also have a lot of great apps now that help people, right? Hello, dear. There's some deer in my path. They're eating the kuri, the chestnuts, aren't you?
How do they get through? Do they stomp on them? How do they get through that?
I don't know. It looks like the shell is really spiky and hard. I think they might stomp on it. They're clever.
Yeah.
They look well fed. I guess autumn is a really famous time to eat in Japan. Maybe also for wild animals. Lots of good food for them too.
Okay, well, everyone, thank you for sticking around and watching us. Now, if you're watching us on YouTube, please make sure you like, share, leave a comment. Also, if it's on the podcast that you're enjoying the show, please give us a review, leave some comments, share with your friends. JJ,
Also, I was going to say, JJ,
And check out
how can people find you?
my channel.
Yeah, how can people find you?
If you search, we'll probably leave a link below this. But if you search JJ Walsh, Inbound Ambassador, or Seeking Sustainability Live, then you should find it.
On YouTube, Twitter?
On YouTube, also on Twitter, JJ Walsh, on Facebook, Inbound Ambassador, and I'm also on Twitch, the gaming channel. If you search JJ Walsh and then the underline after.
and I'd just like to thank you as well. You were one of the earliest people to publicly kind of encourage us.
Oh, you guys are awesome. I'm a big fan.
Thank you.
Oh, there's a buck here. I'll just show a buck at the end. He's got big antlers. Hello, sweetie. No, he doesn't look aggressive. He obviously gets enough to eat. That's a good thing.
Now, do you know how we end the show?
No idea. I watched it, but I don't remember.
It's up to the guest. So when we have a guest on, we will punch the camera. Not actually, you don't have to punch it hard, just pretend to punch it. Or some people headbutt it, some people kick it, some people elbow, or maybe you can put it into a tree or something like that. It's up to you.
Okay.
On the spot.
All right, you guys ready?
Well, you tell us what to do,
Okay. Wait
and we
a
all
sec.
do it.
All right. Can you find a deer where you are?
I found a letterbox. Will that do?
A letterbox. Okay. I'll find a stone or something to end it on.
Okay.
And what have you found, Kama?
You got something, Kama?
I'm going to show my recording device that hangs around my neck. It's kind of iconic.
All right.
And 3, 2, 1, boom.
So I'm at Daishoin Temple right now. It's the most famous Buddhist temple in this area, I believe. We've had visits from the Dalai Lama when he came to Japan. It's a beautiful old temple, and it's famous for many things, but one of the things it's famous for are these stone Jizo statues. Jizo are for many reasons, but often used to protect travelers on journeys. So I really like all the different characteristics of the Jizo. Aren't they gorgeous? And they have these beautiful guardians. Oh, here comes some deer down the steps. Look at them. They were visiting the temple too. Hello. Can you see them? Aren't they gorgeous? And the guardians of the gate on either side. Oh, he's chasing him out. So you're not supposed to walk directly in the center as you go through the gate. You're supposed to walk on one side or the other. And now, because of coronavirus, it's always good to use the spray and sanitize your hands. While you're going up the steps, you can push the prayer wheels, and the prayers are supposed to go up into the heavens if you do that. Such a nice idea. I love all the wood carved. Gorgeous. People leave offerings, little coin offerings. I love how it's so quiet and serene as you walk around. Such a quiet place. And they always, people knit the red hats for the Jizo statues. You can see here. See all the red hats? It's unusual that you hear people talking so loud. Usually it's very quiet and serene. I guess not everybody. Isn't it gorgeous? These are the Emma boards. So each one is 500 yen, about $5. And you take one and you put your money in the slot. It's on the honor system. And then on the back, you write your name, your address, and here you would write your message. And there's some pens here if you want to write. There's different ones for younger children. A lot of people use the Emma boards when they are about to start testing for getting into a higher school, like high school or university, and they're studying hard, or they're applying for jobs. So some pivotal point of your life, you would come and write your message on an Emma board and hang it here at the shrine. You can see all the hopes and dreams of so many people. It's a nice Japanese tradition. I like it. I can't think of anything similar that we have in America. Nothing that I did as I was going through those big life changes I think it's a kind of nice thing to do with your family or friends, to come to a shrine, write your hopes and dreams, put it up, and hope for the best. With all the lucky charms that you can get, lots of different ones. It's nice how they have the English fortune telling, 100 yen per try. They're really pretty, so they're really pretty ornaments. So the lucky fortunes called omikuji. You put the money into here, and then you take one. It's on the honor system. Little daruma. You can keep it for decoration as well as have your fortune. Also a fish. It's a little charm in there. Another little charm, like a devil, like a oni. Lucky oni, lucky devil. And then if it's just a paper one, usually people will tie it up on the strings. There's one guy here. The paddles are famous from Miyajima Island. Lucky rice scoops. A lot of people buy as souvenirs. And it's still made on Miyajima Island, so there is a bakery that makes bread from the offcuts of the paddles they use as their fire when they're making the bread. The Princess Bakery. So you know that it is made from local wood. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I haven't heard otherwise. Here's some postcards with the paddle that you could send. I like that idea. Better than plastic, right? It's unfortunate right now that one of the main attractions of Miyajima Island is now under construction, and it will be for another 2 years by local estimates. So you can see it there, and it's under scaffolding. But it is the giant torii gate that goes along with Itsukushima Shrine, which is right there. So now the water is out, but when the water comes back in, it looks like the shrine is floating. So it's called Itsukushima Floating Shrine. Even though it's under scaffolding, it's still such a beautiful area. Sometimes you can see people kayaking, taking kayak trips from the other side over, or even suppers sometimes come in. When the torii gate is not under construction, kayakers will be going through, or suppers will be going through, or small boats during high tide. It's such a beautiful island. There's the 5-story pagoda over there, and then behind Itsukushima Shrine is Daishoin Temple, where I was earlier, the famous Buddhist temple on the island. And then behind the Buddhist temple is the mountain. A lot of people hike up to the top of the mountain for beautiful views of the surrounding area and the surrounding islands. Even when it's under construction, it's still such a beautiful island to visit.
G'day, I'm Kama.
And I'm Blowy.
It's the Kama and Blowy Show.
Kama and